Hey guys, Dan here, and welcome to my in-depth guide of how to own the giant mole. I'll be showing the best methods, some of the best methods, best inventories, and his weaknesses and his frequent drops. Just to quickly mention, the two important items you need is a spade, might be in your toolbar already, so just check that, and a sapphire lantern. At least a sapphire lantern. If you have a candle, then that's just newbie. If you have a tinderbox in your tool belt, you can just click on that. You should accidentally misclick. This first setup I'll be showing is normal range. It is recommended that you have 70 plus range, so you can have black dragon hides and high hits. It is also recommended that you use a rune crossbow. Okay, if you have a chaotic, then that's perfect. Snakeskin boots is a must-have because they give free range bonus and a little bit of defense. If you have completed the recipe for disaster if you have completed the recipe for disaster crest, you can use the Barry's gloves or any ones lower than that. If you do the Horror from the Deep quest, you can unlock these god books, and you have to buy the pages to go in it, so you can get the bonus. They give an 8 in every attack bonus, but that's just a Zamrak one. The Sidemen one gives defense bonuses, which is not really useful because you're going to be using prayer. It's also best to use a glory or an amulet arranging if you have one. It's quite expensive. I'm not sure how much it is at the moment. But yeah, you definitely need one of those. Accumulators, so it can pick up your bolts whenever you fire them, or an attractor or an alerter. For a helmet slot, you can either use Neety's not helm, but preferably a archer helm. You can also use the armored helm if you are a bit expensive. So, this is the recommended inventory you should have with your low level setup. 3 ranging potions, depends on your ranging level. Mine's 80, so I'll go with 3. 1 prayer renewal potion. These are optional, they just help you boost up your prayer. 2 prayer pots, depends on your prayer level, as I said. If you're below 60, I recommend 4. 5 monkfishes, just in case you forget to change your prayer. Definitely your items that you need. A teleport out of there, like a quick one. You'll have to right click for this one, because if you end up left clicking it, you'll just do a sweep emote. A beast of burden, preferably a bull ant, or a terror bird, or a war tortoise. If you're a high level, just bring a pack yak. So bring 2 pouches, some in the first one. You don't need to store anything in there, because you can store your kills in there, so you can stay there longer. And another one, so when that one gets to 30 seconds, you can then renew it. You'll be running around a lot in the mole's lair, so you're going to need some tireless run scrolls. Basically what these do, these boost your run up a bit when it goes low, and makes you run forever. It's recommended to bring at least 200, just because you'll be trying to get a lot of kills. Now, once you've found the mole, which is always spawns in the center, you can now pot your range prayer up, go to your quick prayers, and make sure it's onto your best range prayer, which are the little eyes, and tech from melee. Okay, so press confirm. Okay, now make sure your crossbow is onto rapid. You can now turn your prayer on and fire at him. He also teleports around as well, so you got to be careful. You got to run around a lot and stuff. Now, sometimes your mole will attack your familiar if you are not lucky. Now the key for this range setup is to get the mole trapped so you can fire at him without getting damaged, like so. Now you can call your bird round so it don't do any damage, unless it runs back like what it's about to do now. That's the problem, so you got to make sure you are still always attacking him. Now when he does the burrow, he teleports somewhere, and you got to find him, which is really annoying. So that's why you need to get a beast of burden, so he can follow him once you've finished attacking him. This is also one of the good places. If I can just see if I can try and get him round here. There we go. This is a good place, but it's sad because he just teleported as soon as I managed to actually lay my crossbow on him. He's level 230. His weaknesses are stab and range. That's why I'm showing you the range option, because it's one of the most powerful to take down the mole, and to help you get the largest amount of kills. Now try your best to get him behind something so he doesn't attack you. You can take a sip of your prayer renewer if you want. You can see how rapid it hires my prayer points. It's quite easy to kill when using range. That's why melee is not always the best option. Once you are complete with your first kill and have your kills stored in your familiar, you can now carry on until your bird becomes full and you've run out of prayer pots and you've got a full inventory. So now once all this is done, you can now use your quick teleport. And I can't take my follower on your broom, so it's not recommended to use a broomstick. So I'll just use my glory and teleport to Reggie. Now, if you have a Falador tablet, which is really highly recommended, I have to pause for a second. Okay, so now you are in your bank. Just to quickly take your familiar's items, just click this. The wolf icon with the green arrow on the right. Now, this second setup is the tanking setup. I'm not very good at tanking because I'm in only 81 defense, so it's recommended that you have at least 80 plus defense. 85 is highly recommended, at least. Okay, so for my tanking setup, I'll be using dragon boots, as they are the best, most affordable in the game, and Barrow's gloves, because they have the best defense method gloves other than the Goliath gloves. And I'm using the Obby shield because that gives great absorption for melee and a high defense bonus for slash, stab, crush, range, and summoning. Now, you can use an amulet of defense, but if you want the attack and strength bonus, then it's recommended using a glory or a fury. A skill cape is quite optional because you can either have fire cape for your strength bonus or a skill cape because it gives you 9 in all defense bonuses. For the plate body and plate legs, you can have from Rune, that's one of the lowest recommendations, or you can have any of the Barrow's armor, but if you die it will degrade and turn to 0 and you'll have to repair it again or either sell it. You can use Bandos, which is really extremely good because it also gives a strength bonus, or you can use Torva if you're a rich badass, but I don't think someone with full Torva would actually go to the mall, so that's why I'm not actually going to mention that 100%. You can use a Berserker ring or a Warrior ring. I'm not sure I think the Ring of Vigor helps. So have a look to see if that's actually helpful at all. Now with my little gear set that I can actually afford, I got 12% in absorption of melee attacks. So we're cool. So I forgot to mention the helmet. I recommend helmet is either a Thorax helm for a great defense bonus, or any other Barry's helm, but the Thorax is the best because he tanks. You can use a helm of Niti's Knot, which has a nice defense bonus, and 2% of absorption in melee attacks, and a free strength bonus, as well as a free prayer bonus, even though you're not using prayer for this method. Okay, so for your tanking inventory, you're going to want 2 supersets, make sure you include the defense as well. A spec weapon, either a DDS, because the maul is weak to stab, and this is mostly the stab based weapon, and it will get you some pretty decent hits. I use rock tails because I reckon they're really good for the maul. Same 2 items as always. Extra familiar and your scrolls, and in your familiar you're gonna want a full inventory of rock tails. Okay, so since we're not gonna be using protection prayers, you're gonna want to change to your either ultimate attack and ultimate strength, or piety or chivalry. You can unlock chivalry and piety by doing the completing King's Random and doing the extra night waves. It's quite difficult, but I'll probably be doing a guide on that in the future. Okay, so now we're hit them all. So first of all, you're going to want to change to your spec weapon, pot up, turn your spec on, turn your prayer on, and attack. An optional weapon is the Celtic Rapier because that has a high stab bonus and he is weak to stab, as I've already mentioned. You can also use any other chaotic, like a longsword or a maul, but if you are going to tank it, it's best using a shield, a one-handed weapon. So once you have used up all your food and have got your full birds full of kills, you can then teleport away with your quick teleport. This is done for method number 2. I also forgot to mention that when you are using your prayer, you'll run out of prayer points. So that means you'll just have to fight with no prayer and take more damage. You can also bring a prayer pot, but it's recommended bring in maximum inventory of food and a maximum bird of food. This second setup I want to show you is the prayer setup. Now, for your armor, you will want to have either proselyte or initiate, both plate and legs, and your best boots you can use for normal melee, and at least Barry's gloves, and your normal weapon, and bring a defender this time because you won't need to get the extra defense bonus to tank. Now, you can either bring a glory or a Sardamin stole, or any other god stole, in fact, because they all give the same prayer bonus. Niti's Knot helm gives a prayer of 3, and Ardy Cloak gives you a prayer of 6, as well as a stab bonus, which is pretty good. Now, for the inventory, you will want a superset, just one superset. Don't bring a defense because you're using prayer. At least 4 prayer potions and a spec weapon. Ideally, the Dragon Dagger because it has a nice stab bonus and it does a 2-hit spec, which is quite powerful. Same items before, 2 terror birds, and of course all your scrolls. Now, you can actually bring a Holy Wrench. I think when you drink a prayer potion, it gives you higher prayer points, like restores higher prayer points. Can't remember what quest it was, but I think it's the Great Brain Robbery. You can check that out for yourselves, because it's quite a good item to get, especially if you're going to Barrows. Now we're heading to the Moles Lair. Okay, so now you're at the boss. For your quick prayers, you can use your best strength and attack boosting prayers, but I don't sometimes always do it because it wastes your points quite a lot. Definitely protect for melee. Put your spec weapon on. Pot up. Prayer. Spec. When he teleports away, chase after him until you finally kill him. Continue this until you get a full adventure and a full bird. And then tele away with your Amulet of Glory or your tablet. And then you've done your trip. Thanks for watching my guide, and expect more guides from me sooner in the future. Bye.